Hello and welcome along to After Effects Basics with your host Robert Smith. In this video we're going to take some After Effects generated movies and we're going to sequence them into a slideshow. To do that I'm going to start with File, Import like this, File, and I'll navigate to the folder I want, and there it is. Here's the 6 movies I've made previously in After Effects, and I'll simply select the top one, hold the Shift key down, select the bottom one, and I don't have options, that's all good. I'll click OK, and in they come. Here's my 6 movies I've made. Okay, now to sequence movies it's exactly the same as sequencing still images, so let's see how that works. I'm going to go to Composition, New Composition. Now let's have a look at our settings. 1280 by 720, yes, the A4 of digital video. Square pixels, 25 frame rate, and 1 minute with a black background. That's fine, it's all good. And here we are, here's my 60-second timeline, my video viewing area, and here's my my assets, if you like. If I click on Type, like up here, they'll be able to select them a bit easier. So I'm going to select the top one, hold the Shift key down, select the bottom one, and click and drag them all onto the timeline. Now, the first thing to notice about this is that they have duration. When we dragged our still images onto the stage, they took up the whole timeline because they don't have their own duration. But these movies do, they're all 10 seconds long. So I need to zoom in a little bit on my timeline so I can see that. Right now I've got 15, 30 and 45. So I'm just going to click and drag that out so I can see 10 seconds. This zoom in, this little thing here. Okay, now what I need to do is I'm going to work on all of these layers simultaneously because they're all going to do the same thing. They're going to fade in, we're going to watch it for a while, then they're going to fade out. So I've got them all selected like that. I'm going to press the letter T, and that will bring up my opacity. Okay, my opacity property, if you like. I want to animate that. Now I want to animate it backwards like we normally do, so I'm going to click up here, my numbers, type in 100 like that, and that'll take me to 1 second along my timeline. 1 second equals 100. Then I'm simply going to click on any one of these stopwatches, and that'll give me a keyframe, as you can see, at 1 second at 100% opacity, so we can see it. Now I'm going to go back to the start by dragging that, the current time indicator, or pressing the letter, or pressing home. We'll do the same thing. Then I'm going to click on one of these numbers, any one, and just drag it to the left down to 0 like that. And you'll see that they've all got keyframes at 0 now, so that if we play that, it fades in up to 100%. Then of course that's the only one we could see because it's the top layer. Okay, I need to fade them out, so to do that I'm going to go to click on this number over here, type in 900, which will take me to 9 seconds along my timeline, and you can see my opacity at this point is 100% because that's what these second keyframes are saying. So I'm going to click over here in these second diamonds to put in a manual keyframe. In other words, copy these keyframes and put them here so nothing happens between here and here. Then I'm going to press the letter O on the keyboard to go to the out point of each of these layers, and I'm simply going to drag my number back to 0, my opacity number, like that. And there it is, fades in, stays there for 9 seconds or 8 seconds, and then fades out. Fabulous. Okay, so what I need to do now is to sequence these layers one after the other. I'm finished with my opacity, so if I press the letter T over here, all the layers will close back up again, making it nice and neat. Okay, now to sequence these layers, even though they are video, it's the same as a still image, so I'm going to select all of those layers, Apple A or Shift click like that, and go to my animation keyframe assistant, sequence layers like this. Now I want an overlap. I want an overlap by clicking on that of 2 seconds like that, so the fades will work. I don't want any transitions, so 2 seconds in there like that, and OK. As you can see, these layers now overlap like that. Very nice, and they fade into each other, so let's have a look at that. I'm going to zoom back out, and that's how much they take on my timeline. Now I need to make my work area, which is the full length like this, is 60 seconds, but I don't need that. I only need to here to the end of this last layer, this one down here, this one here. So I'll press the letter O to get to the end of that. Then I'm going to press the letter N like this, and that'll bring the end of the composition to that point in time. So we don't have any wasted footage at the end. So let's have a look at that. with a RAM preview up here, clicking on this. As you can see, some of the fantastic effects that you can do in After Effects, cell patterns, all sorts of things, fractal noise. And again, these will be the subject of other videos, how to create these. They make amazing backgrounds. So as you can see, it's going through. The first time through, it plays. It won't play it in real time, but the second time, if that green line we see here is complete, that means the whole of this timeline is in RAM, and it'll be able to play back without any glitches or jittering, if you like. As you can see, here we are in cell pattern. Very nice. We love that effect. Fractal noise. Now that's called clouds in Photoshop. You've probably wondered what clouds was about in Photoshop. Mr. Mercury. Who would have thought about Mr. Mercury? Okay, so that's it. I'm really happy with that. I've got them sequenced now. They're playing one after each other. They're fading in. I want to make a movie of this, so I'm simply going to go Composition, Add to Render Queue. In my best settings, I'm going to click here and make sure it says Work Area Only. That's what we want. Okay, that. And under Lossless, I'm going to make it H.264, like that. Very nice. And click OK. Actually, my post-render action, I'll click on that and go Import so we can see the video we're going to make. I'm going to click OK. And under Output 2, let's output that into the same folder. So we'll call this Sequenced Effects, like that, and save. And of course we must remember to click on the render. Everybody forgets, including me, to click on the render, and it will simply go through, and depending on how powerful your machine is, sometimes it takes forever, depending on how many effects you've got and how hard the computer's working to actually compute all the imagery you're looking at. But as you can see, some fantastic effects you can create in After Effects, and you can put people in front of that and typography and all sorts of stuff, but that's the subject of upcoming videos. So let's have a look at that. Okay, now if we look over here, After Effects rewards us with that little tune. Here's our movie we just made. If we double click on it like this, it'll open up here in the composition window. I think that's what it's called, but there it is. There's our video we've just made. It's all stitched together. Okay, what have we learned in this video? We've learned that we can take images, or still images, or mainly videos in this video, and we can sequence them, and we can work on the layers all at once. If they're all going to do the same thing, we can apply keyframes to all layers at once using the Shift key, and then we can sequence them using the sequence layers. Now we can do all this automatically, but that's just the manual way of doing it, and quite a neat thing. So that's it. If you've got some movies you want to put together, that's a nice way of doing it.